Dae-ho Kim wiped the sweat from his forehead and looked at the mess of parts on his workbench. His small repair shop on the edge of New Seoul Space Station was hot and cramped. Tools hung on the walls, and the floor was covered in grease spots. The air smelled of metal and oil. Another day, another broken engine, he said to himself. Dae-ho was good at fixing things. Very good. People said he had magic hands. When others gave up on broken machines, Dae-ho could make them work again. But being good at repairs didn't mean being rich. The door slid open with a hiss. Ji-hai Park walked in, holding a cup of coffee in each hand. "You look tired," she said, handing him a cup. Ji-hai had been Dae-ho's friend since they were kids. Now she helped run the business side of his shop. "Thanks," Dae-ho said, taking a big sip. "How bad are the numbers today?" Ji-hai frowned. "Bad. We have enough credits to last maybe 2 more weeks. Then we can't pay the rent for this space." Dae-ho nodded. This wasn't news. The big repair companies on the main part of the station took most of the good jobs. Small shops like his got the leftovers. "Maybe we should." Ji-hai started, but stopped when she saw Dae-ho wasn't listening. His eyes were fixed on his tablet. On the screen was a list of items for sale at the station's daily auction. Most were junk, but one item caught his eye. "Look at this," he said, showing Ji-hai. "Lot 47. Alien vessel, non-functional, for salvage only. The starting price is low." Ji-hai's eyes went wide. "Are you crazy? We can't afford to buy an entire ship, even a broken one. But what if it's a Centauri design, or even Proxian?" Dae-ho's eyes lit up. "Their tech is worth a fortune, even broken. And what if it's just garbage?" Ji-hai asked. "We'd lose everything." Dae-ho was already putting on his jacket. "The auction starts in 20 minutes. I'm just going to look." "Dae-ho, please. Think about this." But he was already out the door. The auction room was crowded with buyers from all over the station. Most were from big salvage companies. Dae-ho felt small among them. When Lot 47 came up, a picture appeared on the big screen. The ship was small, about the size of a bus. Its hull was dented, and the paint was burned in places. The shape was strange, not like any ship Dae-ho had seen before. Lot 47. Alien vessel of unknown origin. Non-functional. For parts only. Starting bid. 5,000 credits, said the auctioneer. The room was quiet. No one raised their hand. The ship looked too damaged, too strange to be worth the risk. Dae-ho felt his heart beat faster. Maybe the others saw junk, but he saw a possibility. 5,000 credits, he said, raising his hand. The auctioneer looked surprised. "We have 5,000. Do I hear 6,000? No one spoke. The big buyers were not interested. Going once, going twice, sold to the gentleman in the back for 5,000 credits. "You did vote HA8. Ji-hai's voice was so loud that Dae-ho had to hold his calm away from his ear. "I bought it," he said. "The ship. No one else bid. That's our last 5,000 credits. "I know. But Ji-hai, something feels right about this. Call it a mechanic's intuition." He could hear her take a deep breath. "Where are they delivering it?" "Hangar 16. The empty one near us. I'm heading there now." "I'll meet you there," she said, and hung up. As Dae-ho walked to the hangar, he felt both excited and scared. Had he just made the best decision of his life, or the worst mistake? Either way, there was no going back now. Hangar 16 was big and empty except for the strange ship sitting in the middle. Dae-ho walked around it slowly. Up close, the ship looked even worse than in the picture. The metal skin was burned black in some places. There were deep dents along one side. Ji-hai arrived and stood with her arms crossed. She didn't look happy. "So this is what 5,000 credits looks like," she said. Dae-ho touched the hull. "The metal is strange. I've never felt anything like it. Can you even open it?" Ji-hai asked. Dae-ho found what looked like a door on the side. There was no handle, just a flat panel with strange marks on it. He pressed his hand against it. Nothing happened. "Great purchase," Jai-Hai said. "A ship we can't even enter." Daho took out his tools. "I'll find a way in." It took 2 hours. Daho tried everything he knew about doors and locks. Finally, he connected his tablet to some wires behind the panel. The door made a loud hiss and slid open a few inches. Daho pushed his fingers into the gap and pulled. The door opened all the way. "I'm going in," he said. "Be careful," Jai-Hai warned. "We don't know what's in there." Inside, the ship was dark and cold. Daho turned on his light. The main room was small, with seats that were too low for humans. The controls had strange symbols. Everything was covered in a thin layer of dust. A narrow hall led to the back of the ship. Daho followed it to a room filled with machines. This had to be the engine room, but the engines were unlike any he had seen before. Parts of them glowed faintly blue, even though the ship had no power. In the corner was a clear box about the size of a small closet. Frost covered the inside of the glass. Daho wiped it with his sleeve. He jumped back. There was something inside. It looked like a cat, but bigger, about the size of a large dog. It had orange fur with black stripes. But its face wasn't like a cat's. It was flatter, with a shorter nose, and its ears were longer. It wore what looked like clothes, a tight suit with many pockets. "Jai-Hai," Daho called. "You need to see this." She came running. When she saw the creature, she gasped. "Is it dead?" Daho looked closer. "I don't think so. I think it's frozen. This might be some kind of sleep box." "We should call station security," Jai-Hai said. "Wait." Daho pointed to a panel on the side of the box. "Let me check this first." The panel had a screen with more strange symbols. Daho touched it, and the screen lit up. He pressed what looked like the biggest button. The box made a loud humming sound. The frost on the inside started to melt. "What did you do?" Jai-Hai grabbed his arm. "I think I started the wake-up process," Daho said. They watched as the box grew warmer. The creature inside started to move. First just a twitch of its ears, then its paws. Suddenly, its eyes opened. They were bright green with pupils like a cat's. The creature looked right at Daho and Jai-Hai. The front of the box slid open. Cold air poured out. The creature stepped forward on 2 legs. It was as tall as Daho's chest. It opened its mouth and made sounds. Daho didn't understand the words, but the angry tone was clear. The creature reached to its wrist and pressed something on a band it wore. A small light blinked. "Who are you?" it said in a female voice. The words were in perfect Korean, but the voice sounded mechanical. "And what have you done to my ship?" Daho and Jai-Hai stared in shock. "I asked you a question, human," the creature said, her fur standing up. "And I expect an answer. Now." Daho found his voice first. "I'm Daho Kim. This is Jai-Hai Park. I bought this ship at auction today." The cat-like alien's eyes narrowed. "Bought? My ship is not for sale." "The station authorities listed it as salvage," Jai-Hai explained. No one knew anyone was inside. The alien looked around the engine room. Her ears flattened against her head. "What have you done to my beautiful ship?" she hissed. "The engines are cold. The systems are dead." She ran her paw over a damaged panel. "This is a disaster." "I didn't break it," Daho said. "It came like this. I'm a mechanic. I can help fix it." The alien laughed. It wasn't a nice sound. "You, a human, fix core technology. That's like asking a child to build a star." Daho crossed his arms. "I can fix anything." "What's your name?" Jai-Hai asked the alien. The alien hesitated, then said, "You may call me Nari. I am the engineer of the Starlight Whisker. That's the name of this ship." "What are you doing here?" Daho asked. "Why were you in that box?" Nari's tail swished back and forth. I was on a mission. We were attacked. I had to use the emergency stasis pod to survive. She looked at them closely. How long was I asleep? We don't know, said Jai. The ship was found drifting in space near the station. A sound came from outside the ship. Footsteps. Someone was in the hangar. Nari's ears perked up. Who else knows I'm here? No one, said Daho. Just us. They listened as the footsteps came closer to the ship. This is Security Officer Lee, called a voice. Is anyone inside? We need to inspect the vessel. Nari grabbed Daho's arm. Her claws dug into his skin. No one can know I'm here. My people have not made official contact with humans yet. What do we do? Jihai whispered. Daho thought fast. Hide in the stasis pod. I'll handle this. Nari shook her head. The pod needs time to reset. Then hide in the storage room we passed. Quickly. Nari ran silently down the hall. Daho and Jihai went to the ship's entrance. A security officer stood there with 2 guards. All wore the blue uniforms of station security. Mr. Kim, the officer said, we need to do a standard inspection of your purchase. Why? Daho asked. I already paid for it. New rules for all alien tech, the officer said. His eyes looked too interested in the ship. There have been concerns about dangerous materials. Daho blocked the doorway. The ship is a mess inside. Not safe yet. I need to check everything first. The officer tried to look past him. That's what we're here to do. You have no right, said Jihai. The sale is complete. The ship belongs to Daho now. The officer smiled, but his eyes were cold. We'll be back tomorrow with proper papers. Make sure the ship is accessible. He turned and left with the guards. When they were gone, Nari came out of hiding. They're looking for me, she said, or for core technology. Either way, it's bad. Why? Asked Daho. Nari sighed. This ship has special systems. If humans get them before official contact between our worlds, it could change everything. Then we need to fix your ship, said Daho. So you can leave. Impossible, said Nari. The damage is too great, and I don't trust a human to help. You don't have a choice, Daho pointed out. And neither do we. If security finds you, we'll all be in trouble. Nari's tail twitched as she thought. Finally, she nodded. Fine. A reluctant partnership, then. You help me repair my ship and keep me hidden. In return, she paused. I will teach you about core technology. Knowledge no human has ever had. Daho smiled and held out his hand. Deal. Nari looked at his hand, then slowly reached out her paw to shake it. Deal, she said, not looking happy about it. But don't expect me to be nice about it. 3 days passed. Daho spent all his time on the ship. He moved tools from his shop to the hangar. Jihai brought food and kept watch for security officers. Nari was not an easy partner. She complained about everything. Human tools were too simple. Human repair methods were too slow. And humans themselves were too messy. No, 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 Nari shouted. She pointed at the engine part Daho was fixing. You're doing it all wrong. Daho put down his tool. Then show me the right way. I'm trying, but you don't listen. Her tail swished angrily. The power flows in circles, not straight lines. Your human thinking is too straight, Daho suggested. Nari glared at him. But then, something strange happened. Her whiskers twitched, and a sound like rough purring came from her throat. It took Daho a moment to realize she was laughing. Yes, she said. Humans think in straight lines. Core think in circles and spirals. Daho smiled. It was the first time she had talked about her people without anger. But look, he said. He showed her how he had fixed a broken connection with a piece of wire bent in a spiral. I can think in circles too. Nari examined his work. Her ears moved forward with interest. That might actually work. Not the way a core would do it, but not terrible. Coming from Nari, this was high praise. I'm hungry, Daho said, checking the time. Jihai should be here soon with lunch. More of that bland station food. Nari made a face. On my world, food has taste. When Jihai arrived, she had containers of food from the Korean restaurant near their shop. I thought we could use something better than station rations, she said. Daho opened a container. The smell of spicy kimchi stew filled the air. Nari's nose twitched. What is that smell? She asked. Kimchi jjigae, said Daho. Spicy stew from our homeland on Earth. He offered her a small bowl. Nari sniffed it suspiciously, then took a tiny taste. Her eyes went wide. She took another bite, then another. This has flavor, she said with surprise. Strong, burning flavor. Jihai laughed. You like spicy food. Core food is very strong, Nari explained between bites. Our sense of taste is different from humans. Most human food tastes like water to me. But this, she finished the bowl. This I can taste. After eating, they went back to work. Daho noticed that Nari was less grumpy now. Tell me about your world, he said as they repaired the ship's control panel. Nari's eyes looked far away. Core Prime is beautiful. 3 moons light our night sky. The cities float in the air, connected by light bridges. She sighed. Our engineers are the best in the galaxy. Better than human mechanics? Daho asked with a smile. Much better, she said, but she was smiling too. Though I admit, your creative approach is interesting. A core would never think to use that part this way. She pointed to a fix Daho had made, using parts from an old human coffee maker to replace a damaged cooling system. Sometimes, Daho said, not having the right tools makes you find new ways to solve problems. Nari nodded slowly. Perhaps there are things our peoples could learn from each other. That evening, as they finished for the day, Jihai brought news. Security came to the shop asking questions, she said. They want to know why we haven't opened the ship for inspection, and they mentioned something strange. What? Asked Daho. They asked if we had found any life forms on board. Jihai looked at Nari. They know something. Nari's fur stood on end. We need to work faster. They're getting closer. Tomorrow, Daho promised. We'll start on the main drive tomorrow. As he left the hangar, Daho realized something had changed. He no longer saw Nari as just a grumpy alien. And maybe, just maybe, she was starting to see him as more than just a simple human. The next morning, Daho arrived at the hangar early. Something felt wrong. The station seemed too quiet. As he walked through the empty halls, he heard a voice on the public speakers. Attention all citizens of New Seoul Station. A military vessel has docked for a routine inspection. Please cooperate with all security personnel. Daho ran the rest of the way to Hangar 16. When he got there, Jihai was already waiting. Did you hear? She asked. Yes. Military ship, not good. They went inside the hangar and closed the door. Nari was working on the ship's engines. She looked up when they entered. What's wrong? She asked. You both look worried. A military ship just arrived, said Jihai. They say it's for routine inspection. Nari's fur stood up. There's nothing routine about it. They're looking for me, or for my ship's technology. We need to know more, said Daho. He turned to Jihai. Can you go to the main hub and watch them? See what they're doing. Jihai nodded and left. Daho and Nari worked faster than ever on the ship. They had fixed many systems, but the main drive still wasn't working. Without it, the ship couldn't leave the station. Tell me the truth, Daho said as they worked. What's so special about this ship? Why are they looking for it? Nari was quiet for a long time. Finally, she sighed. The _Starlight Whisker _ has experimental warp technology, she said. It can travel faster than any human ship, much faster. And that's why they want it. For the speed. Not just the speed, said Neri. The technology could be changed, used to make weapons. Very powerful weapons. Daho stopped working. Is that what you were going to use it for? Neri hissed. No, the Corps don't make war like humans do. I was on a peace mission. Our leaders finally decided it was time to make official contact with humans. Then why were you attacked? Some people don't want peace between our worlds, said Neri. On both sides. Before Daho could ask more, his comm beeped. It was Jihai. They're coming your way, she said. Her voice was quiet and scared. Captain Han from Earth's Unified Space Command. He has 10 soldiers with him. They're checking every hangar. They know the ship is here. How long do we have? Asked Daho. Maybe 15 minutes. They're in hangar 12 now. Daho looked at Neri. We need to hide you. No, she said. We need to finish the drive. It's almost working. They worked faster than ever. Daho's hands were steady even though his heart was racing. Neri moved quickly, connecting wires and adjusting settings. Daho's comm beeped again. Hangar 14, said Jihai. 5 minutes. The captain keeps asking about alien life forms. We're almost done, Neri said. One more connection. The ship's engines made a low humming sound. Lights on the control panel turned from red to green. It's working, said Neri. Suddenly, they heard footsteps outside the hangar. A loud voice called out, "Open this door in the name of Earth's Unified Space Command." Daho looked at Neri. Can we fly now? She shook her head. The hangar doors are closed. We're trapped. The main door to the hangar began to open. A tall man in a dark uniform stepped in. Captain Han had cold eyes and a thin smile. Behind him, soldiers pointed weapons at the ship. "Mr. Kim," said Captain Han, "I believe you have something that belongs to us." "This ship is mine," said Daho, standing in front of the ship's entrance. "I bought it legally." "We're not just here for the ship," said the captain. "Our scanners detected a non-human life form. You're hiding an alien." The soldiers moved forward, surrounding the ship. "You have 1 minute to bring out the alien and step away from the vessel," said Captain Han, "or we will take it by force. Get inside the ship." Daho whispered to Neri, "Lock the door." "What about you?" she asked. "I have an idea. Trust me." Neri hesitated, then ran inside the ship. The door closed behind her. Captain Han stepped forward. "That was a mistake, Mr. Kim. Bring the alien out now." "There is no alien," Daho said. He tried to sound calm. "Just a broken ship that I'm fixing." "Our scanners don't lie," said the captain. "Soldiers, prepare to breach the vessel." The soldiers raised their weapons. Daho stood alone between them and the ship. Suddenly, Jihai ran into the hangar. "Wait, you can't go in there." Captain Han turned to her. "Another delay. Move aside, both of you." "The ship has a radiation leak," Jihai said quickly. "That's probably what your scanners found. Not an alien, just dangerous radiation." The captain frowned. "Radiation?" "Yes," said Daho, catching on to Jihai's plan. "That's why we haven't opened it for inspection. It's not safe." "Our sensors would have detected radiation," said Captain Han. But he looked less sure now. While they were talking, Daho slowly moved toward his toolbox. It sat near the ship's landing gear. "Your sensors might not recognize this kind of radiation," said Jihai. "It's alien technology, remember." Captain Han waved her words away. "Enough games. Soldiers, move them aside and open that ship." As 2 soldiers approached, Daho dropped to his knees by the toolbox. In one quick motion, he pulled out a strange device he had built the night before from parts in the junkyard. "Stop!" shouted the captain. "What is that?" "Just a tool," said Daho. He pressed a button on the device. A high-pitched sound filled the hangar. The soldiers' weapons sparked and went dead in their hands. Their comm units made crackling noises. then stopped working too. Captain Han's face turned red with anger. What did you do? Electromagnetic pulse, said Daho. Something I learned from core technology. It disables electronic devices. He pressed another button on his device. The hangar's big doors began to open. At the same time, the _Starlight Whisker_ engines roared to life. Now, Jihai, Daho shouted. Jihai pulled out her tablet and pressed several buttons. The lights in the hangar went out. Only emergency lights stayed on, casting long shadows. In the confusion, Daho ran to the ship. The door opened for him, and he jumped inside. Nari was at the controls. How did you do that? She asked, her eyes wide. That pulse device. No human should be able to make that. I watched how you fixed the engines, said Daho. I learned from you. Can we fly now? Nari nodded. The ship can fly, but not far. The warp drive is still damaged. Outside, they could hear Captain Han shouting orders. The soldiers were trying to block the hangar doors. We need to go now, said Daho. Can Jihai come with us? Nari shook her head. Someone needs to stay and slow them down. And she looked at Daho with new respect. Someone needs to tell other humans what really happened here. Daho understood. He pressed his comm unit. Jihai, we have to go. You need to stay. I know, she answered. I'll be fine. I'll tell our story. Now go. The ship's engines grew louder. It lifted off the hangar floor, hovering for a moment. Captain Han and his soldiers ran toward it, but they were too late. The _Starlight Whisker_ shot forward, through the open hangar doors and out into space. Nari's paws moved quickly over the controls. On the view screen, they could see New Sol Station growing smaller behind them. Several small military ships were already launching to chase them. They're following us, said Daho. Of course they are, said Nari. We have something they want. Can we outrun them? Nari smiled for the first time since Daho had met her. It was a smile full of sharp teeth. With your creative repairs and my piloting skills. Maybe. She pushed a lever forward. Hold on tight, human. This is going to be a rough ride. The stars on the view screen blurred as the ship accelerated away from the station, with the military vessels in hot pursuit. The _Starlight Whisker_ raced through space. Behind them, 3 military ships followed. They were bigger and faster than Nari's small ship. They're gaining on us, Daho said, watching the screen. We can't outrun them. Nari's paws moved quickly over the controls. There's an asteroid field ahead. We can hide there. The ship turned sharply. Soon, they were flying between large rocks floating in space. The military ships followed, but more slowly. The asteroids will slow them down, but not for long, said Nari. We need a better plan. Daho looked at the ship's damaged systems. The warp drive still isn't working, but maybe we don't need to run. What do you mean? Nari's ears twitched with confusion. Captain Han is doing something illegal, Daho explained. His orders must be secret. If everyone knew what he was doing, he would be in trouble. So we need to tell everyone, Nari said, understanding. But how? We're in the middle of space. Daho smiled. We use your ship's communication system. Can you fix it? Nari shook her head. It's too damaged. It would take hours. Then we make a new one. Daho went to the engine room. I'll need your help. They worked together as the ship hid among the asteroids. Daho's hands moved quickly, connecting parts in new ways. Nari watched with growing respect. That should never work, she said, pointing to a part he had made from pieces of the ship's kitchen unit. But it will, said Daho. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to work once. On the screen, they could see the military ships searching among the asteroids, getting closer. They found us, Nari warned. We have 10 minutes, maybe less. Daho worked faster. He connected the last wire. Done. Now we need to record a message. Nari stood in front of the camera they had made. I'll speak first. I'll tell everyone about my peace mission. Then you tell them about Captain Han." They recorded their message quickly. Daeho explained how Captain Han wanted to steal core technology for weapons. He showed the evidence he had gathered, pictures of the military ships and recordings of the captain's threats. "Now we send it," he said, to everyone. Nari pressed buttons on their makeshift communication device. "It's sending, but I don't know if it's working." The ship shook suddenly. A military vessel had fired a warning shot. "Attention alien vessel," Captain Han's voice came through the speakers. "Power down and prepare to be boarded." Another shot hit them. The lights flickered. "We can't take another hit like that," said Neri. "The ship will break apart." "Is the message still sending?" Daeho asked. "Yes, but..." The ship shook again. This time, several systems shut down. Smoke filled the control room. "We need to surrender," said Neri, "or we'll die here." Daeho looked at the screen. The military ships were surrounding them now. There was nowhere to run. Then his comm unit beeped. It was Ji-Hai. "Daeho, your message is all over the station. Everyone is seeing it, and not just our station. It's spreading to other stations too." "Is it making a difference?" he asked. "Yes. Station security is questioning Captain Han's orders. His superiors are calling for an explanation. And hold on." There was a pause. "Daeho, there's a message coming in from Earth. And another one from somewhere else. I think it might be from the core." Nari's eyes widened. "My people received our message." "It seems like it," said Ji-Hai. "Both human and core authorities are ordering the military ships to stand down." As if to confirm her words, the military ships stopped firing. They moved back, away from the _Starlight Whisker _. Daeho and Neri looked at each other in disbelief. "We did it," he said. For the first time, Neri put her paw on Daeho's shoulder in a friendly way. "No, human. You did it. Your strange way of fixing things. It saved us." "Our ways," Daeho corrected her. "Core knowledge and human creativity together. That's what saved us." The comm unit beeped again. This time, it was a new voice, a deep, official-sounding human voice. "This is Admiral Lee of Earth Space Command. Captain Han has been relieved of duty. We request that you return to New Seoul Station for diplomatic discussions." Neri looked at Daeho. "What do you think? Should we go back?" Daeho smiled. "Yes, I think it's time for humans and core to talk. Really talk." 3 months had passed since the standoff in the asteroid field. New Seoul Station was bustling with activity, but it was different now. Among the human crowds, cat-like aliens walked. Core and humans worked side by side, learning from each other. Daeho's small repair shop was gone. In its place was a large building with a sign that read, "New Horizons Engineering Academy, Human and Core Cooperative." Inside, Daeho stood before a class of eager students, half human, half core. He held up a broken engine part. "Who can tell me how to fix this?" he asked. A young core raised her paw. The traditional core method would be to replace the entire system. A human student spoke next. "But we could just rebuild this one part using scrap metal and save time." "Both are right," said Daeho. "And both are wrong. The best solution is to combine our knowledge." From the back of the room, a familiar voice called out, "The best solution is to not break it in the first place." The students laughed as Neri walked into the classroom. She still looked grumpy, but there was warmth in her green eyes. "Professor Neri has a point," Daeho said with a smile. "But sometimes breaking things leads to new discoveries." After class, Daeho and Neri walked to Hangar 16. It was their hangar now, officially given to them by station authorities. Inside sat the _Starlight Whisker _, fully repaired and improved. "Ready for our trip tomorrow?" Daeho asked. "The ship is ready," said Neri. "Whether the humans on Core Prime are ready for you is another question." "They invited me," Daeho reminded her. First human to visit the core homeworld. Only because you wouldn't stop asking, Neri said, but she was smiling a little. Jai joined them by the ship. She now worked as the Academy's administrator. The news channels want another interview before you leave, she said. Daho groaned. Again? Haven't they asked enough questions? You're famous now, Jai reminded him. Both of you are. The mechanic who bought a broken ship and found an alien. The core engineer who helped establish peace between our worlds. I didn't want any of this, Neri said. Her tail swished with irritation. I just wanted to fix my ship and go home. But you stayed, said Daho. Neri's ears flattened. Someone has to make sure you humans don't break everything you touch. They all knew it wasn't the real reason. After the military standoff, Neri had received many offers to return to Core Prime. She had refused them all, choosing instead to stay and help build the academy. The first students will graduate next month, said Jai. Where should we send them? Everywhere, said Daho. Stations, planets, ships, places where humans and Core need to work together. That evening, they sat on the observation deck of the station, looking out at the stars. The _Starlight Whisker _ floated nearby, ready for tomorrow's journey. Did you ever imagine this? Daho asked Neri. When you woke up from that stasis pod and saw me? Never, she admitted. I thought you were a primitive human who would break my ship even more. And now? Neri's whiskers twitched. Now I think you're a primitive human who sometimes has good ideas. Daho laughed. I'll take that as a compliment. It was meant as one, said Neri, her voice softer than usual. A small group of children ran past them on the deck, human and Core children playing together. They stopped to stare at Daho and Neri. It's them. One human child whispered loudly. The ones from the story. Neri sighed. Will we ever stop being the story? I hope not, said Daho. Good stories help people dream. Dreams lead to new ideas. The next morning, they prepared to leave. Jihai hugged Daho goodbye. Come back soon, she said. We will, Daho promised, with new knowledge, new ideas. He and Neri boarded the _Starlight Whisker _. As they sat at the controls, ready for takeoff, Neri turned to Daho. I have something to say, she began, her voice serious. Yes. Daho waited, curious. Your repair on the navigation system yesterday. She paused. It was good. For a human. Daho smiled. From Neri, this was the highest praise. Thank you, he said. Ready to show me your world? Neri nodded, a rare smile on her face. Ready. Let's go see new horizons. The ship lifted off, carrying the human mechanic and his grumpy alien friend toward the stars, and all the adventures that waited beyond.